All right, my name's Darren. This is Electro Savvy, and we talk about electricity tools and tech. In this video, I'm going to explain why it's so important to leave extra wire length when pulling it in a new construction. It makes no sense to cut it flush at the box just to make it harder later to install your hardware or pigtail something when you really didn't need to. All right, here's a tip, y'all. If you're working on electricity and you're not sure if it's hot or not, go ahead and turn the electricity off by turning off your main breaker. If you have a voltage tester and you know what breaker it is, turn that breaker off, retest it, verify that it's actually off where it's safe to work on. That was tip number one. All right, y'all, back to the video. Alright guys, so in this first clip, I'm just going to show you why it's important to pull yourself a little bit more wire. By code, you need to have at least 3 inches past the box. Just a rule of thumb, go ahead and pull yourself 6 or 7 inches just to be sure. You'll have plenty to work with, but let's go ahead and check out this clip and I'll show you why these short wires make it difficult when you are trying to install hardware.
Okay, I have the wires stripped out already, and you can already tell that I have my hand halfway in the box, which makes it more difficult to twist your wires up. I could use Wagos, but I prefer to twist my joints because it makes a better connection. But instead of working outside of the box, you're working inside the box, and it just makes it more difficult. And you can't strip out long amounts of wire where it would be easier to twist up. You can see I have to stick my strippers into the box just to get a decent length stripped out. Earlier I mentioned you need 3 inches by code to stick past the box. And you need this 3 inches to make it easier to install an outlet or a switch, but in this case is an outlet, and now you're going to have to make pigtails a whole extra step just to install the hardware. So remember, when you're pulling wire, to always leave that extra length, no matter if you're wiring it parallel or you're going to wire the outlet in series. After working with the right length of wire, you'll never cut that wire short at the box again. Remember, you always want to work smarter, not harder. Especially if you have multiple outlets to do. Alright, I have this all wrapped up. I'm making my hooks on the wire. Next, I'm going to speed through hooking the outlet up. So I'll hook my ground and my neutral and tighten those down. I'm going to flip over the outlet, land my black underneath the brass terminal, and then I'm going to push the wires and fold it nice and neat and screw the outlet down. Next, I will be installing the cover plate, and now I'm done.
Real quick, y'all, if you're getting value out of this video, please give me a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button and leave me a comment if you can. Alright, back to the video. In this next video clip, you're going to see something that's commonly used in homes, and that's the series wired outlet. It saves a lot of time because there are 2 terminals on each side, and instead of putting it underneath a wire nut, you can just make your hook or stab in the back. Okay, and definitely it is important to leave yourself some length when you are wiring an outlet or a switch this way. to the clip.
Okay, on this outlet, you can clearly see I'm working with a lot more wire. So I'm stripping out the sheathing of this Romex, and you can see I have at least 7 inches. I left one ground longer, and you can see I'm twisting it up, and that's for a reason. I'm going to use this ground. So I'm sliding on this grounding wire nut, which has a hole in it. I love using these. And I'm going to fold that longer ground out the way. I'm going to size these wires up about 5 to 6 inches from the box. Okay, here I've spread my wires, I've stripped them out, and now I'm making my hooks for the terminals. After I finish making all the hooks, I'm going to clip that ground and make a hook on it. And I'm going to pre-fold these wires just to shape them, to get them lined out to install this outlet. So you see me installing the ground, and then I'm going to put both of my neutrals on the silver terminals. I'm going to flip over my blacks on the brass terminals and screw them down tight. Now I'm going to fold that outlet and put it neatly into the box, and then tighten the screws down. Once I have the outlet tightened, I can grab my skinny flathead and the outlet trim cover and install it.
Okay, last but not least, I'm going to show you what I call a parallel wired circuit. To me, this is the best ways to wire an outlet. Yes, it does take a little bit more time, but just like anything that is good, it usually takes a little bit more time. But even in this parallel circuit, you still need to have yourself some extra wire, because the longer the wire is, the easier it is to twist together. So let's take a look at this video and I'll explain.
Okay, so here I have the longer wire stripped together, and I'm twisting the grounds up together, and I'm going to clip off the short piece of the copper, and I'm going to slide on my grounding wire nut. Very similar to the way I stripped out the other outlet. 2 pigtails, a white and black. I'm going to strip them out along with the wires that are cut at about 6 inches from the box. I'm going to line up the black. You can see here I got plenty of room to make a good twist. All 3 wires are tightly bonded together. The joint is very tight. It's a pretty twist. I'm repeating the process with the neutral wire, clipping off the excess, and I'm going to fold it into the box. Here I'm going to strip out both wires and make the hooks for the terminals. With the correct length of wire, this project is easier. Okay, so I'm going to land the ground, and then I'm going to twist the receptacle over and land the neutral. I'm going to go ahead and tighten that down, and then land the hot under the brass terminals. I'm going to push the outlet in the box, fold the wires up nice and neat, and then tighten the screws down. Next, I'm going to add the cover plate with my flat skinny screwdriver, and then the job's complete.
In this video, the tools that I was using was the Milwaukee multi-tool. It's a 7-in-1, and this thing is awesome. It also has that flat tip. It takes the place of strippers, needle nose, and lineman pliers for me. It also has some common screw cutters or bolt cutters. I think it's 832s and 632s. That's pretty much your most common screws when it comes to residential electricity. So DIYers, this is a great tool. Also, I used a Klein flathead, the skinny, and I just kind of went back to the basics with this, and I grabbed this tool a lot. You know, sometimes you'll see me with the multi screwdrivers, but you know, when it comes down to putting cover plates on switches or outlets, you just can't beat one of these flathead skinnies, and it will always be in my bag for that reason. For a DIYer that just wants it all and wants a quality tool, both of these Klein multi screwdrivers are just fine. 11-in-1, and I think the other one is a 12-in-1, and it's a ratcheting screwdriver and just a multi screwdriver. Battery powered screw gun, but that's the tools that I was using, and it's pretty common. You can find them pretty much at any hardware store like Lowe's, Home Depot. That's where most people shop these days. All right guys, so that's just about it. My name's Darren, this is Electro Savvy, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.